help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, all the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally, and we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and then I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow, send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Yes, join Startup on the Blocks. Thanks, Quinn, for those shout outs on that video. Temante, if you turn your camera back on, we can get this show on the road. Welcome to Startup on the Blocks.
Thank you. Thank you, Lloyd. Right. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Startup on the Blocks. I like the name. And thank you for having me.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're excited to hear what all's going on down there in Miami and what's going on with BikeCon and what's going on with this partnership you got with Microsoft. So we're looking forward to hearing about a lot of that stuff. So you mentioned Startup on the Block. So we're here in historic Belmont, the Villiers neighborhood in Pensacola, Florida, and it's a neighborhood that used to be called the Harlem of the South back in the early 1900s. So it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So a lot of people you are familiar with had business affiliations down here in the blocks, like people like Mary McLeod Bethune, Sidney Poitier had friends that were here. He was always coming up here to Pensacola or down here to Pensacola. And so, nice. And I'm sitting in a building right now that's used to be a furniture store, but wrapped around it was the Savoy Club. And that's where James Brown, Ike and Tina Turner and all the groups came down here, So
nice.
So it's a pretty fat.
Yeah, Miami's got some history too. In historic Overtown.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, the historic meeting between I think it was Muhammad Ali and.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
That happened there at the historic Hampton House in Miami. They had the first Black millionaire in the city of Miami. Also, their house still stands right near the Red Rooster. I'm drawing a blank, the family name.
That movie was really inspiring to me. Yeah, it was to tell that story, back then. Yeah. But so the neighborhood used to be called the Blocks, and so the idea was Startup on the Blocks.
So that's how you got the name.
Yeah.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
I think it's the Dorsey. I think it was the Dorsey house. I want to say.
Yeah. Yep. Believe it or not, one of my relatives on my father's side, used to have a business right down there in Overtown, so I know a little bit about it. Yes. All right. So first of all, I wanted to kind of give a shout out to
It is the Dana A. Dorsey House, and it is a historical landmark.
Okay, appreciate you.
I have to check it out.
Yeah. Yes. That sounds good. And I see Terry's back here listening for that. Had shout out over there in Panama City. Yeah, he's working with the minority chamber over there. So glad to see he's on tonight. Yeah. So we're excited.
Gotta add BikeCon up there.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So yeah, so
got some good organizations. That's good.
So we definitely get aligned and get that, because you are definitely offering some good things to folks, and so we definitely want to take advantage of that partnership. But like our sponsors are really coming through to support our Black Founders Program. And so we got a goal this year to kind of help 1,000 Black founders, and we're leveraging some of the training tools from a company called Startup Science. This light bulb here, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then Lean Stack platform, where do the business model design and follow the Lean startup methodology. So that's kind of what the deal is there. So it sounds like you got some family there. That's okay. We've had parents on here and everything. So.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I'll keep going through this. But yeah, so our sponsors are really coming through with supporting us in our Black Founders Program, and supporting our upcoming Black Founders and Innovation Summit. So a really big shout out to everyone on that for supporting us. Okay.
And these organizations, are they, well, obviously on the FP&L, they're all over, right? Are they mostly
So the let's see, Startup Science, they're out of with the light bulb, they're out of I guess Silicon Valley area. I'm not exact. Yeah, they are. Yeah, and cool. The idea about them, they Gregory Shepard, he created this program called Startup Science, and it's a training thing. But the training that's in there, everything he learned from going through 12 exits, he put in that training.
So it sounds like he's demystifying, that startup founder journey, right?
Yeah, and So, and I got a chart I'll show a little bit his perspective as compared to other ones. So FPL, of course, they're down there where you're at, and they were some of our original sponsors for our nonprofit, but they last year we got involved in their program for Black businesses, and the folks in South Florida there do that. So they actually sponsored us to train Black founders in the state of Florida. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, any Black founder, can get access to our training platform. And we're in the middle of a 90-day launch program now. We did 2 cohorts with them last year. So yeah, so they're signing on.
What are y'all training on?
Yeah, on the Lean Stack platform, and I'll give you a little bit more background, and it'll come together. But to think that that's a pretty neat deal, for founders here in Florida. But what we did was we allowed these founders in Florida to have other people on their team from outside of Florida as well. So that's how we got able to support people outside of Florida with that funding as well. But the BIT Foundation, they sponsored us to do 4 cohorts last year, 30-day training, and 1 90-day program. And so we so last year was crazy. We did like 6 30-day cohorts and 1 90-day cohorts, and we learned a lot and supported a lot of founders, and so that was like really neat. And that BIT program, we're now working with founders all over the world. So yeah, and I was just on believe it or not, on the networking thing just before you came on tonight, and was talking to a founder in Africa. So yeah, nice. So that's pretty neat. So Innisfree Hotels, they've been supporting us when we got started with our Startup on the Blocks program, and we I think they sponsored our first 4 or 5 pitch competitions. So just trying to introduce people to the startup stuff. But Renaissance Bank is local. They started with us last year and they came on board. The First Bank, they've been supporting our nonprofit, and in the last two years, they're been supporting us as well. And our local BIT chapter, and Collab, and these are some other partner organizations, both chambers down here. But what we hope to do is get sponsors to Black founders all over the United States and all over the world. And so what we want to do is get corporations to sponsor Black founders to go through our training. That's kind of what our strategy is. Yeah. But I'll share some more about that stuff a little bit more. But once you take a minute or two to kind of introduce yourself, just a short introduction, and then we'll dive a little deeper in a little bit here. If you, Temante,
sure.
if you go ahead.
My name is Temante Leary. Yeah. Can y'all hear me? No?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Me?
You good? I can.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
perfect.
so you can hear.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
My name's Temante. Yeah. My name's Temante Leary. I'm a founder, entrepreneur. Also work at Microsoft as a content developer. I'm a I'm a lawyer by I guess training. Graduated from law school with my J.D. MBA. I don't practice by choice, but I do teach law and business courses when I have time at Miami-Dade College. And I've taught at various institutions in higher education. So glad to be here and glad to be on with you all.
Okay, fantastic. So we're definitely glad to have you here. We'll take a few minutes to go through what our program is all about, and that way you can get more familiar with what we do and our opportunity. We can support your organization as well. So we have the Black Founders Innovation Summit coming up, and so that's one of the programs we're doing for Black founders, and we've had our sponsors so far sponsor 50 registrations. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, and so and most of these folks on here, some of them at least. I know you know Rose, and Cherise and Dr. Eugene.
Of course.
You know Wanda, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, she's down there in South Florida with me. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And
we were collaborating for our Art Basel stuff. So
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. But just a little bit more about the Black Founders Innovation Summit. So you've probably seen this with founders, but in Miami it's a little different because it's a real active ecosystem down there for startup founders. But one of the things I noticed in the past 3.5 years, almost 4 years now, working with the founders, some of them, they still trying to do traditional businesses and not business that require you to innovate, to build something, revolutionary or whatever. Right. And so that was kind of, a key to me, that we need to help more founders understand how when you can pull a team together, you can, when you're working to solve a problem, as you solve that problem, you're actually innovating. And so it's a straightforward concept, but a lot of times founders they create.
When you say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you say traditional business, what do you mean by that? Are you talking about just one that doesn't?
That doesn't scale. Restaurants, barbershops, they can scale, but it takes more from the scale. So it's like when you think of the startup founder world, the ecosystem, it's more about businesses that can scale,
right. 10x. Yeah. 10x.
Yeah, and that's the exact answer. So one might ask, well, how can you scale a business at 10x? You have to design the business model to scale at 10x, and I think that's the fallacies that some people don't really understand. You have the ability to design your business model so it actually can scale, and that's what our Lean Stack program is all about. So yeah, but getting back to this innovation summit. So our keynote speaker is Dr. Latanya White, and and she's going to be doing a keynote on dynastic wealth, and so she's created a framework for that. I think she's partnered with a company down there in Miami, to kind of get that out to people as well. And then after she finished that, she's going to go right into the innovation mindset. And so the neat thing about her, she's researched the ultra wealthy, and from the result of doing that and studying entrepreneurship and stuff like that, she's kind of like developed a framework that for families to follow, entrepreneurs to follow. So it's really, really exciting. And Rose, of course, you know her. And I told her before you jumped on the meeting.
Is the frame is
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a little delay. I was gonna say is Dr. White's framework. Is it more about? Is it a framework for like how to attain wealth, or how to build a business?
It's yeah. So I don't know if you're too young to remember. Do you remember a show named Dynasty about this ultra rich family?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so the question
is that like a soap opera or? I remember.
Yeah, it was.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and you may have to close some of your browser tabs to get rid of that delay, because it's probably sucking up your bandwidth there. But yeah, so she did a PhD on entrepreneurship, and she, as a part of doing that, she studied how the ultra wealthy people accumulated wealth, and they in over 3 generations they got to the point where they didn't have to do any more business stuff, but they didn't just do it for their business. They taught their children how to do it. They taught the whole family how to do it. So they made sure that everybody in the family knew how to do it. And not just money; it's every aspect of your life. And so, like one example you'll see through the summit is Caleb. He actually is, and he's in Tampa. He's actually launching a worldwide business based on his grandmother remedy for muscle soreness. So his grandmother passed the recipe down to his mother, and his mother passed it down to his older brother, and so now he learned through that Tampa Connect thing or whatever they have down at the University of South Florida, and so he's leveraging embassies all over the world to launch his product. So that's pretty neat. But in other words, so he's actually practicing what Dr. White is going to be talking about. Yeah. So Temante, I guess, having a little technical difficulties, but the bottom line is this day is in conjunction with our partners, the Black Innovation Leaders of Florida, and this afternoon session here with the Successful Black Founders. That's sponsored by the Black Innovation Leaders of Florida, and also the best practices for raising capital. I see you coming back in there. I'll get you on when you're there. You go. There you go. I see you now. Okay. So, but yeah,
started.
Yeah. Is it any better now?
Yeah, that's a little better. The bandwidth, it was kind of choppy for a couple minutes, so I lost you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I think when you have a lot of browser tabs open, but you got your kids there too. They might be sucking up hand because you brought you
You
while they was
know,
outside playing.
if that's what it is, let me close some of these tabs while we're talking there.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is because you didn't have any lag or anything when we were on, earlier. Yep, and the difference is your kids
Yeah.
came in out. All right, but I'll keep talking about this, and you can listen as I go. So when you're a startup
Yeah.
founder and you building a startup, you actually there are phases that you go through startup development phases, and the so a lot of the programs work with founders when they're already open up their business and got stuff running, but there's a lot of things that happen before that, and so you have a situation where you have founders just opening up a business and starting trying to do something, but they miss all these phases here. But what I learned about the startup ecosystem and what my startup was that at the idea stage you could actually get help, but even at the when you're at this growth stage, and believe it or not, I was at Emergent America down in 2017 down there in Miami Beach, and I ran into one of the nonprofits, and they said they work with
Yeah.
startup
I'm going
organizations
in a
that.
couple weeks.
Okay, good. Yeah, they work with
Yep.
organizations that that are making $5 to $10 million a year, and they help them scale to $100 million a year. And I can't remember which organization that was, but it blew me away. So literally, a nonprofit is helping a company over here in this growth stage. So I thought that was amazing. But what it taught me was no matter what phase or stage you're at, you can actually get help. And what I also learned over all these years with this startup stuff is that I traveled city to city. What I found out the really uh, impactful cities, they actually start working with their founders at the idea stage, and they train them the best practices at the idea stage, so they can get to some of these other phases. And so a lot of the programs, when you think about Black people that haven't been exposed to high growth businesses, you need to start working with them back here, not right here. And so Caleb, I had him on a month or so ago, and he was saying when he saw this chart, he said it reminded him of the story behind the Twin Towers. He said, like when the towers came down, it was like years before people saw anything. And he said that's what's going on here. And they had to build the foundation for the new building, and they had to build the foundation 3 football fields deep. So that's what was going on early on before people started seeing the building come out of the ground. And so that's to me, this is kind of like the key, to being having a successful startup is knowing you have to go through these phases and don't just try to jump from an idea in the market. Yeah. And so this is another way to look at the thing. Earlier we were talking about the 10x. So this curve right here is the traction curve, but it's a 10x curve. So and so the lean stack and the lean startup methodology, this is what it's trying to teach you. It's trying to teach you here. You design a business model, a scalable business model before you actually start building anything. You learn how to pitch the business model clearly and concisely, so you can recruit co-founders, you can recruit a team of people to help you build it. You can be able to pitch it, what you're going to build, and then you can get into these different programs that help you in those phases. And so, and this is what we got funding from Florida Power and Light to do, is to get this platform so we can take people through these first two phases here. So and then Over here, you got product market fit. And the problem is most founders run out of money before they get to this point. And so that's what the dilemma is. So as I was interviewing these founders, close to 300 founders, what I found out was they had broken business models. And they were just up here along this path and not making the progress. Okay, now this is the startup science thing. So this takes the same thing, but looks at it at a slightly different perspective. And so
what about the funding conundrum? How
Okay, good. So like,
yes.
yeah. So this is also like a funding attraction and funding curve, and you can actually plot your income and stuff on the same curve too. But what happens at the early stage down here, you're in the red, right? And this is what the question is: how do you get through these milestones without funding?
I'm sorry, what you say, Lloyd? About the yeah.
So you were asking about where does the funding fit in here? Yeah, and so I'm thinking you were talking about what you were referring to is this idea of and you can look at this almost as a learning curve too. You're actually investing your time and other resources here, and you're in the red. So what happens is, so this is the most important thing I can tell you tonight. You have to leverage the ecosystem to cover all of these losses down here in these early stages. And so, and that's what I have trouble communicating with people about is that once you can pitch your business model clearly and concisely, you can get in-kind resources. You know, you can enter in pitch competition at the idea stage. You can enter in programs, and some of those programs provide you funding. But you can't get into that funding if you if you can't get your business model. So, do you remember when a couple of years ago, Microsoft and their startup program, that one of the benefits was that they were paid for you to form your Delaware corporation?
Well, I'm a Microsoft for Startups mentor. I don't remember that, but that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. And so,
so
what they had was they had, like, if you're at the idea stage, you get this much help. If you're at the concept stage, you get this much help. If you're at the next MVP stage, you got this much help. And it just as you grow. And so now they're only paying for half of the cost to do a Delaware corporation. So you see what I'm saying? So this is what people miss out on.
Yeah, that cost is that's about a little under $200 probably, right?
No, it's like so when you look at what you need to do so like it depends on where you get it done at, and like the Delaware corporation, one of the platforms charging like $450 now, and I think the one that Microsoft used, I think, is charging $500, and you can get it for half price. And so that's kind of but there's a lot of other stuff to
do everything. I'm thinking more probably like the LLC cost to do an LLC.
Yeah, and
which people can do on their own. By the way, you don't need to pay anybody.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and so so like in both of those, if you're a startup, like let's say the program that Microsoft has, you get like either $5,000 or $7,000 in credits or something. So you get a lot of free stuff, in-kind stuff, or free software. Most of those. So that's the key to the startup world. A lot of things that you normally would have to pay for as a startup founder, you actually get those things for free.
Right.
So, like, for example,
Well, for us, that's includes we like to give founders a lot of like Azure credits, right? So they can
Yeah,
build on our
yeah. So how many
So
other?
for nonprofits, we have a nonprofit grant, Azure grant for
Okay.
all nonprofits. We start them off with like 3,500, Azure
Yeah.
credits. But you can get up to you know, 6 figures worth of credits, just depending on what you're doing and just how you go about it.
Right. And so that's a real, and that's what the whole point is that Microsoft and other companies, they like give you in-kind software that so you don't have to go out and buy stuff. And so
Yeah.
so when I did was like 10 years 11 years ago, I belonged to the Microsoft startup program. Back then, they gave you all their software for free. They let you have five team members, and you got, like, for each team member, you got $200 a month worth of cloud credits, and so I can't even think of the name of the program, but believe it or not, all those software licenses I got back then, that Microsoft been renewing them ever since then for over 10 years. Yeah. And so my startup with Microsoft, we ended up with
So you've
close
been
to
using our
180.
tech stack. That's
Yeah,
good.
using like $180,000 in Microsoft credits. Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
so you leverage these. The whole point for the audience is that if you can learn how to pitch your business model clearly and concisely for this 10x growth curve, then you can unlock the resources in the ecosystem to pay for your development of your product as you make progress in the ecosystem here. Okay, next, and after this we'll get into the talking to Temante here. So the startup science, it takes this phases that a startup goes through from the viewpoint of you planning your exit. And so what it's basically doing here is, so just like you saw the milestones, these milestones here, and these phases here, when you look at from a startup that's planning an exit. So when you just getting started with your startup, you there are a lot of things that you do, and so you identify the company that's most likely to buy you out. You identify the companies to follow, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so this is back here at this step one. So you, from day one, you're thinking about the exit. And so he's and to me, this looks like what a business has to do to scale. You develop your product, you go to market with your product, you standardize all your business practices with your product, with your business, and then you optimize those things, and then that's when the growth can happen. Yeah. And once you're on that, so this curve, this is just showing you the thing, but this is literally what you're doing. It's this hockey stick curve right here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So most people want to go from here to the right side of the hockey stick, but they don't want to go through all this stuff down here so they can go through the hockey stick. Yeah.
Well,
So
a lot of times is difficult to do all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's definitely there's no joke.
Yeah, especially if you're truly solo, like a solo founder.
Yeah,
by yourself. And not necessarily that you don't have that you need to have a co-founder, but like just if you don't have any other like team members.
Yeah, and that's the number one question people ask: how do you recruit team members?
Yeah, because I mean, it's like when it comes to especially like product market fit, a lot of times you have to bring in a product person.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I mean, You know, you got to bring in a product person. They got to know what they're doing.
Yep.
They have to be experienced. And
Yes.
so that's just the one call out I have is like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's what so that's what Adrian does, is this product person. So we have one of the um, uh, employees of Google come in and do the product thing. But yes,
gotcha.
I just wanted to kind of give like so all of these things about the foundation that a founder needs so they can get the help they need. And so um, so what Adrian said, because somebody asked that question about co-founders, Adrian answered the question, and he basically said, you know, if you're a founder and you're trying to recruit co-founders, it's like anything else. People want to be a part of something that's happening, something that's moving. And so
Yeah,
if you're saying I'm having trouble with this, I'm having trouble with that, nobody's going to want to join your team. But you said, well, I'm participating in this pitch competition, and I'm getting in this program. People want to be a part of something that's moving or growing. And
right.
so, yeah, and that's the, so you literally have to,
Unless you
that's,
can get somebody to buy in before that,
well, yeah,
which is
so, but
tough.
Temante, there's best practices for all of this stuff. And that's why we do the best practices thing, so people can learn what's the best practices for recruiting a
Yeah,
co-founder. What's the best
yeah,
practices for funding what you're doing? What's the best
yeah,
practice? What's the best practices for forming
yeah.
a
That's definitely
corporate?
best practice. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
best practice.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so that's what that is. So what we try to do is catch people before they go out and spend a lot of money, so they won't waste it not doing the best practices. And so yeah, and so definitely a person that didn't, or when I first started, I didn't follow the best
yeah.
practice.
If you knew what you knew now, yeah, that's good. Saving
Yeah.
people from making the same pitfalls.
Yes, yes. So but that is kind of what we try to do with founders, and it's a hard pill for founders to understand. And I'm telling you, I've interviewed people that have been in all kinds of accelerator programs, and but people, the people that run the program, they assume that people know, that the people understand, the founders understand how to do a scalable business model. But most people, a lot of founders I've interviewed, they, even though some of them are making money, they still have broken business models. They're not making the progress they want to make. And that's why it's so important to design that scalable business model and stress test it early on. So we probably spent more time than I wanted to on that. So, but I appreciate you asking questions. But so now we want to kind of learn a little bit more about what you got going on. So first, so you got. What we'll do first is we'll talk about the the the, the stuff that you got going on immediately, and then
Answers. If I have to tell you again to go in your room and close the door, sorry.
yes, yeah. But yeah, that's and that's why we're trying to do our programs, and we understand that yeah, the yeah. So yeah, you remind me. That's why I'm so glad my kids are grown and gone. Yeah, yeah. So it's tough being a daddy, huh?
Yeah, my 6-year-old, she wants to hold on one
You can
second.
bring her. You can let her come on down, and we can meet her. But so this is another thing, Tamate, that I found with black founders, is that they don't have the luxury, uh, you know, taking off for a week or two, with the family, and stuff like that. It's just a whole lot of things going on, trying to raise the kids and everything. It's just people trying to make a living, and so it's hard for them to actually build a startup. So
One thing too, I see founders doing a lot
Mm-hmm.
is going straight to uh, I need VC, like I need VC capital mindset.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
try to tell founders, like, you know, do everything you can to not have to need or depend on venture capital,
yeah.
and try to, you know, build something that, you know, if you can, you know, build a business where you're, you know, generating $10,000 a month in revenue, that's not bad, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
figure out a way,
and,
obviously, figure out a way to do better, but
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have
and
to
that,
like go straight to like VC,
yeah,
and mainly because you don't want to lose control. You know, as soon as you start doing
that's a,
that, you start giving away your equity. So
yeah,
um,
yeah, and
that's
that,
one thing. And
yeah,
there's examples of people who've done it. There's a guy down here, very successful. You may have heard of him. Even, you know, brought one of his regional headquarters down here from Texas, which is Derek Miles from CoreMed. Has never had,
okay.
you know, he's never taken a dime of VC, right?
Right, right. Yeah,
Um,
and so
yeah.
the first accelerator program I was in was actually out of Miami Venture Hive, and that's what the founder of that was saying. She said, if you can fund your company on customer growth, that's the best way to fund it. And so
Yeah.
so there's so many best practices. There's not that there's so like if you need go to VC route, that's fine. So like at my startup, I didn't go to VC route. I went the corporate innovation program route. And so that, you know, where they didn't require you to give up any equity. So there's no one answer to everything. It's just that you have to get in and start talking to and meeting other founders, and so you kind of know what all your options are. It's kind of what the message is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, I wonder if I should plug my computer in. Let's see. Yeah, let me do that. We're getting some good. Give me a second to
Okay.
get it
Yeah.
charged
No.
for a
No
second.
problem. Yeah. While he's doing that, I'll actually I can pull up a video that I uploaded here, and so that question that people ask a lot of time about the getting how do you recruit a co-founder, and then this is what Adrian's answer.
So, startups are a science, but they're also a bit of game theory, right? And oftentimes, what do people want to be a part of? They want to be a part of something that's moving already, right? So at every step of the way, when you're talking to somebody, co-founder, investor, ecosystem, checking in with Lloyd, it's got to seem like something's happening. There's got to be a beat to it, right? So even when you're pitching a co-founder, what you don't want to say is, oh my gosh, we've been frustrated, this app's not working, the last guy didn't really build it properly, and can you come help us? They're going to be like, oh, it's so great. Why don't you have a long line of engineers wanting to join this team? What you want to say is, I'm scheduled to pitch at Startup Grind. I'm scheduled to pitch at 1909. I'm doing the Lloyd Startups on the Block pitch competition soon. We're moving really fast right now. We're super excited. Potentially, we're looking to raise $2 million for our first round. I'm talking to investors right now. I'm having conversations, and we just want to get this MVP done so we can get ahead of all this. That's very different. That's a very different explanation than, hey, I'm frustrated, come help me build my startup.
Yeah, that's my guy. Adrian, he'll be at ByteCon, so that's a good segue. I guess talk a little bit more.
Let's go ahead and talk about.
Yeah. Adrian, he's a great, very knowledgeable, great guy. He did a segment also for us, a workshop. Our last workshop, actually, he did for us last month. Very well attended, great turnout, and he'll be also speaking at ByteCon, which ByteCon stands for Black Innovation Technology Entertainment Conference. Um, we're going into year 3 this year with our conference. I also created a foundation, Bicon Foundation. Essentially, we're focused on impacting a pipeline of 1 million underrepresented and underserved technologists over the next, well, just in general. I was gonna, looking at trying to do it over 5 years, but it may take longer. And we do that through a combination of strategic partnerships, workforce development programs, thought leadership, and educational, and I should say, an education.
Okay.
And so, we've been giving away partial and full scholarships for boot camps, for example, with our partnership with 4Geeks Academy, which would normally cost, $10,000 out of pocket. So we're reducing the cost of, may not be traditional education, but, education, boot camp education. We're partnering with organizations like, if you want to go to where you were just at, the first one, Microsoft, which I also happen to work at, on initiatives like this Innovation Challenge, where you mentioned 1,000 people earlier. We're targeting 1,000 learners for this challenge to get them skilled on our Azure developer credentials, or I should say skilled and to prepare them to pass those credential exams. We want, out of that 1,000 learners, we're trying to get 400 of them credentialed on one of our certifications, one of those that are listed there, either the AI 102, AZ 204, or the DP 203. All of those certifications are intermediate level certifications, and I did put in the link, in the chat, the link to sign up for the challenge, which is free. I would encourage you to do it as soon as possible, because we're in our second and final week for registration for the challenge. ByteCon, the way we're doing it, we have weekly webinars with Microsoft trainers each week. Starting this week, we had our first webinars, as well as office hours, to engage with learners and to help them along their path for the challenge. It is mostly an asynchronous challenge for learners to complete on their own. And you would need to, you would do most of the stuff on Microsoft Learn. And you need to probably create a profile, if you don't have one, on Learn to track all your progress. But essentially, the challenge has 2 phases. The first phase is the learning portion, which we're in now and will be for the next about 8 weeks or so.
Okay.
And then, and again, that includes the weekly webinars and the office hours. And then the second phase is the hackathon phase, which will be run by Microsoft, starting in June. We'll have, I think it's from May 29th to June 11th, actually. We'll have a hackathon for a couple of weeks, where there'll be a $10,000 first place prize, 2 $5,000 second place prizes, and 3 $2,500 third place prizes. We'll have teams of 5. They'll be allowed to have, a coach or a mentor, an advisor. And the hackathon is invite only for those who earn a credential. So it hopefully incentivizes folks to get that credential. And then, of course, the goal is to build something that you're able to showcase your skills from this challenge during the hackathon, to kind of show your stuff and be working with other like-minded folks in the hackathon, the Microsoft hackathon, who've also completed the challenge, and to go and build and create something. And these are a very rare set of skills that are industry relevant, industry in demand, especially when it comes to us at Microsoft. So these skills are this is not something you can go to a boot camp and get, and it's not something that you can really get elsewhere. And so just want to emphasize these are very rare in demand skills where, they'll allow you to, be a much stronger job candidate, have better job prospects. I should say this challenge, completing,
Yes.
Can't guarantee you get a job, but, you'll at least be able to have the opportunity to show your stuff when you have the next opportunity, next time you have an interview or the next time you have a demo or, a chance to, show what you can do. You'll be able to do that. And obviously, hopefully it'll be backed by Microsoft certification, which looks very good to Microsoft, obviously, but will obviously look very good to any company, to any tech company or any organization, especially in this AI, kind of craze that we're in.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking about too in this, so like let's say a founder is got if they're a tech founder, they can definitely take advantage of this. But if they're a non-tech founder, they can have one of their team members, take this training, because to me now, if you're a founder and whatever you're building, it's not leveraging AI, you're not doing the best you can actually do with your product.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So they can do that and should do that. They should have, whoever on the team is the technical founder, definitely participate in this challenge. And I say that because these, we have beginner level certifications at Microsoft, intermediate level certifications, and advanced level certifications.
Yes.
And just as you could, probably assume, beginner level certifications are for anyone. They're for beginners.
Yes.
And then, intermediate level certifications are going to be for folks who have a little more technical acumen. So if we're talking about like founders, that's going to be your technical founder.
Yes.
Or the person that, knows a little bit of Python, et cetera.
Yes.
And then of course, an advanced certification at Microsoft, right? You would need to be fairly technical, right? You need to be pretty technical to be able to.
So let me make sure I understand. So like the Microsoft Learn platform is basically free, right?
It's absolutely free. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but what you're saying with this innovation challenge, they're actually also providing some additional help getting through.
Not only that, we're paying for. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that. So our learning's always free, but usually most people's hurdle or issue is, how do they get the money to pay for their certification exam, which usually is not cheap. Can cost a couple $100, $200-$300, just depending.
Yes.
And so we're offering exam vouchers as well for people to be able to take their certifications. So really have nothing to lose, and everything to gain. Got a question?
It seems like you're getting some additional benefit because you said you're having weekly Zoom meetings or something.
Yeah. So through our organization, ByteCon is in as far as our participation in this challenge. We are helping to engage learners.
Okay.
We've been tasked as an organization as a training provider. Essentially, is one of the things that we do at ByteCon.
Okay.
And facilitator to help engage learners. And I had to think of a good way to do that. And we did get a little bit of guidance, a little bit of, but actually doing it, actually pulling it off is and so I was actually able to recruit some folks, some of my colleagues, some Microsoft trainers. I thought, what better to have than to have people that are at Microsoft who are actually trainers to help facilitate this learning material.
So let me guess, you got Ron McNair.
Yeah, Robert's my guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Robert. Yeah. Robert. He's not working with us yet. I got a few. I got Bobby Russell. I got Reggie
Okay.
Steed, and I've got Huntley Harris. I've got Robert on deck. And
Okay.
a couple others. Yeah, he was pretty busy, so he wasn't able to. This challenge is 8 weeks. We're doing it, and that's the thing. It's in a fraction of a time of a boot camp, where you could take these skills and go right into the field with them, in a couple of months. So, yeah.
So it's a fantastic opportunity. So to me,
And we've got our trainers on the website under the Microsoft tab. You can see their training days and office hours. You can learn a little bit about them and get ready to join their classes. So there's our trainers right there.
Fantastic.
And, we'll probably add Robert up there in a little bit as well. But
So I think that what I see as the big advantage here is you can always go through this training on your own, but in this case, you've got some help.
Right. Yeah. Don't take that for granted. Yeah. You got some Microsoft help, right? Not just some help. You got some Microsoft help.
So that's really, So that's, to me, that's what's unique about it. And also getting the exam vouchers as well. And then for folks up here in Northwest Florida, we can probably cover once this challenge is over with, if you still want to do something like this, we can support people getting their vouchers for those exams as well. All righty, that's fantastic. So,
and then of course we got our conference coming up.
That's what I want to do.
We got BikeCon.
Yeah, which one of these tabs I should do? The event tab?
Yeah. So we got BikeCon conference there at the top. Then we got actually BikeCon week as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So the BikeCon week starts on Sunday, April 21st through April the 28th. We're having 8 days full of various activations in Miami as a part of BikeCon week. Of course, part of that week will include the 2-day conference on April 25th and April 26th, which is Thursday and Friday, at the downtown Miami at the Idea Center, which is at Miami-Dade College at the Wilson campus downtown. Throughout the week, we're having, you see that first annual, we're kicking off with the golf tournament there. It's like the third event for any of you golf enthusiasts, but also like me, I never play golf, but I'm actually going to play in a tournament because we also, believe in bringing diversity and inclusion as well. And it's also a wellness activity. We'll be having a Dream Cities hackathon. We'll be having an Overtown day where we'll be spending the day in Overtown, going to different, speaking of historic, we'll be kind of, in historic Overtown, going to different Black-owned businesses, Black-owned venues, and doing different things for that day. We're having a kickoff party on Wednesday. We're having the conference on Thursday and Friday. We're having a partner with KimFest, which is a Black filming, game and animation and film creator festival. So they're gonna have another kickoff party for that on Friday downtown, and we'll have KimFest actually on Saturday, and then we'll be closing out everything with the brunch and stuff on Sunday. So there's gonna be plenty for folks to come and do and see and experience. Really would encourage as many folks as possible to participate throughout the week, and in particular come to the conference. Just to highlight the conference, we've got over 60 speakers. It's a 2-day event. We've got over 60 speakers. We got a lot of speakers from Microsoft. We've got recruiters from Microsoft that are going to be talking about the stuff that y'all want to hear. Talking about LinkedIn, your profiles, talking about what they look for, right, in your resume. And that was important to me. I was very intentional about having Microsoft recruiters at BikeCon. I am also the lead for Blacks at Microsoft here in South Florida, which is our employee resource group. We call it BAM for short.
Okay.
And so there's going to be a lot of BAM. A lot of us BAM members are Blacks in Microsoft in the Florida chapter that are going to be at ByteCon speaking, supporting. We're going to have a gaming lounge at the conference as well, with support from Microsoft and Xbox, games, tournaments going on. It's going to be, something for everybody. You're going to have some live, entertainment going on as well. And essentially throughout the 2 days is going to be a combination of, of keynote speakers, fireside chat, panels, and breakout sessions. So a lot to keep up with, a lot going on, but definitely, an experience that you will want to try to make it if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It literally sounds like a lot of, it's focused around founders of people of color, right?
Yeah. So the reason I created ByteCon is to, as far as helping close this digital divide, I didn't, I want our folks in our community that I want to make sure nobody gets left behind, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the pace of technology and, especially these emerging and edge technologies, I wanted to create an event that, not only educates about those, but also, showcases and highlights where people can actually experience them, which is why we'll have a tour in the African Museum of the Metaverse, right? That's an experience that you'll probably only get at ByteCon, where people are doing stuff like that. But, it's a combination of immersive experiences and obviously education, but really so people can learn stuff that they can use right away and do, immediately and put into action as soon as they leave.
Yeah. So so your strategy is to support people of color getting into technology and helping creators. It sounds like this is another great opportunity for Black and brown folks.
Yeah, we're gonna have speakers, over 60 speakers from Microsoft, speakers from Google, founders, successful founders who have raised, who have scaled, who have had multiple exits. We're gonna have breakouts that span everything from technology and fitness to 0 to 30, as far as your first app and product with Adrian. We're gonna have breakout sessions on AI, on Microsoft Copilot, on Microsoft Designer. We've got about 24 breakout sessions, right? So people literally gonna have to choose. Yeah, people gonna have to choose like where they want to go, right? It's a lot.
So what venue are you using for ByteCon this year?
Yeah, like I said, it's downtown Miami at the Idea Center, which is at Miami-Dade College, Wilson campus downtown. So yeah.
So you go down there in Dan Trail's territory?
Yeah, no, I work at MDC, so I've been at MDC for I'm an adjunct there. I've been at MDC since 2014. Actually, it's crazy. It's been 10 years that I've been there. But yeah, Dan Trail, he's doing his thing at MDC now. That's great. We have a lot of different programs for people to get free education, so he should be, and a lot of people down here should be.
Fantastic. So ByteCon, your organization, so I guess the best thing folks should go to your website and kind of see what all you all offer. And
we do. So we do monthly workshops every month. We're pausing for the last couple of months because of the conference, but those are free. We have a co-working space in Hollywood. This my partner does that. We're gonna start running trainings and certification and credential programs from. We're partners with Microsoft, sponsored by Microsoft, to do work like the Innovation Challenge.
Yes.
there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to our organization. You know, we've got speaking opportunities, we've got vendor opportunities, we've got sponsor opportunities, we've got a lot of learning and education opportunities. We've got a lot of networking opportunities. So, you know, I must say I'm pretty proud of what I've been able to create with the foundation in basically 1 year's time. You know, I think you know a little bit about that process, just even the process of being a nonprofit, which is different and little nuanced, right, than some of the others, you know, kind of, but it is still very much a startup. It has, you know, still almost every element that a startup would have, you know, and you know, even when it comes to, you know, now you're sustaining yourself off of donations is not much different than like going after VC capital, right? To be honest, you got to have a really strong, you got to have. I mean, it's different because you're going after, you know, grants and such. But I'm saying, you know, the struggle, the challenge, having a tight application or a tight deck, having to beat out a whole bunch of other people, trying to, you know, just like you would have to win, you know, or you know, get on a VC's radar. Those are there's a lot of parallels, is what I'm saying.
So there are definitely parallels and training. But like, so we allow nonprofits to come into our business model design so they can design a business model to, you know, help them be a sustainable.
I see a comment there. I just got off the phone today with my video guy for the live stream option. So I'm trying to, if I can't live stream it, I plan to have the content to where people can see it later. And so I'm working on that. We're only in year 3. You know, I think it's going to be easier to have these things in place, right? Just like any other, you know, business. I think, you know, as we go along, but I really hope, like, after this year, like it won't be, you know, it'll be fairly easy for me to live stream and bring it to anyone who wants to be a part. I'm trying to do it this year.
Yeah. So like, but so your event is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it starts April 21st. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of
conferences.
Yeah. So one of the suggestions that I haven't been able to work it out yet, but was to, like, for example, if Miami-Dade has a audio engineering, you know, something like that, get the students to come. But the University of Miami, I know
it's so close to graduation. So great minds think alike. I hear you. Their student resources are going to be stretched thin because of the timing.
But and even if it's not graduation, they're probably taking finals.
It's you know, a college schedule. So
gotcha. But so we're going to go ahead and get close to wrapping up. But I did want people to understand your path, because you said you got ended up getting your law degree. But it's the law. What's your plan?
I have a non-traditional. I have a definitely non-traditional path. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a lawyer. I'd say around 14 years old.
Okay.
And so that's something that I knew I wanted to do, and that I set out for myself to accomplish. Okay. And I stayed focused on it. It wasn't easy. Law school, any lawyer will tell you, that's probably the biggest challenge of my life. But if you can make it through that first year, which at, you know, most schools is the weed out year, they want to see if you really want to be there. If you can get through that first year, you can pretty much, you know, get through. But and then of course the distractions of being in a place like Miami where I'm at. But I after finishing law school, I actually got into teaching. Well, I should say after finishing law school, I worked at a few firms.
Okay.
Say about 4 or 5 firms. Then because I have my J.D. MBA, I did a dual degree in law school.
Okay. Wow.
Teaching
I hadn't
something
heard
I
that
always,
before.
yeah, we have a joint degree. So I did my doctorate and my master's at the same time. And teaching is something that I always thought I would do like later in life, like after I practiced law. But it turned out kind of being the inverse. Like I was really marketable having a JD MBA when it came to like teaching. You know, I was able to teach at all levels, associates, bachelor's, master's degree students, because I have my doctorate. And then, as everyone knows, you know, business programs are at every learning institution, every university, literally usually has a separate business school or business program.
Yeah.
And so obviously I have my MBA, and then with my law degree, most schools, especially when I started teaching, also had the criminal justice paralegal programs too. So I was kind of like literally could teach like criminal justice, paralegal, business. Yeah, I was kind of utility guy. And then even when it came to business, I would be the only business faculty with a law degree. So I would have like business law on lock. And business law is like, that book is like this thick. So business law, it takes two courses. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah.
Where was I at?
Yeah. So like the business thing. So like
Oh yeah, the business, right. So I had like whenever they would need a faculty to teach like business law or anything, you know, which is super important and almost like every student wants and needs to take. I would have that one pretty much on lock because they would want someone with the law degree and law background to facilitate. And so I don't have much time to teach anymore. I still do it when I have time, but I have been teaching since 2011. And, you know, I graduated from law school in 2009 and we're in 2024. So it doesn't even seem like that long for me, but I've been teaching for over 10 years in higher education. I became a founder of an ed tech startup that was called Class Updates. We used essentially Class Updates was a communication tool for teachers and students to communicate with each other. We use push notifications instead of text. The founder conundrum got me, man. I couldn't get, I had a great idea. I had but being a Black founder, being like just uphill battle. We were unable to get funding and scale. So we ended up having to sunset. But everything happens for a reason, like, and then just even my path, when I look back, like, even though we had the sunset, if I never, had the experience, I don't know if I would be where I'm at, because in 2019, the opportunity opened up at Microsoft at the time. They were looking for, the role was for an education expert. And here I am with nearly 10 years of experience in education and all these contacts and networks, all these people, students I've taught and, schools I have relationships with that I've taught and people I know. And here's Microsoft looking for an education expert, which was literally somebody to engage our education customers, K-12, higher education, right? And like specifically like, the decision makers, like the deans, college presidents, the principals, the folks that make monetary decisions about technology, computers. So I saw that and I was like, what? Like, you see, it literally jumped out at me. I was like, I didn't know at the time I was going to get it, but I was like, oh my goodness, this is too good to be true. And it's like, they want to, their requirements are, minimum, they want a bachelor's. I I got a master's, I got a doctorate. Like, so
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to be a strong candidate. Like, I knew
Good,
with the blend of my background, my education, me exceeding their minimum, you know, what they wanted. I knew it wasn't going to be too many people that had a doctorate. Like, it's just not, like, statistically. A lot of people that, like you said, I'm the only one they've met, or the only one in the room, or they've only met a handful. And I've had people say, like, you're the, you know, I've heard of it, but you're the first one I met that has. So when it came to, like, because a lot of people apply for the role, I asked my manager after, like, what was it about me, you know, and he told me I forgot how many, but I mean, a lot of people apply to our roles at any role at Microsoft. So it's just, I think, like, statistically, what was it? I used to know this code. You get like 200,000 applications, I think, or something like that, crazy a year, maybe.
Yeah, I got you.
Is it 2? I think it's like 2 million actually. Wow. And then out of that, we only, what is it, like 10%? I had it.
Yeah.
But it's basically, it's like harder. It's tough. It's tough to get on, right? It's tough. Like, statistically, you've got hundreds of thousands, millions of people only get on. But I think what it was the combination of my education, the skills that I had. Actually, I know that's what it was. And he was like, you know, you interviewed strong. He was like, you know, it wasn't anybody really that was going to give you too much competition on the education. So I ended up bagging the role. But that's important because before we get off, that the role was in retail. And I knew that, and I tell people this all the time, sometimes you have to take a step down to get where you want to go. So I knew, you know, me having a master's and a doctorate, that I was overqualified. Yeah. But I also knew that I was not going to be in the same place forever. Right. And that it was a great opportunity. And so I always tell people, don't ever let an opportunity pass you by. And especially if you have an opportunity to get your foot in the door at an organization, you know, like a Microsoft, you know, take it and run with it. And you know, that was part of my plan. Right. I knew after I was like, all right, Temante, you know, you're in, and, you know, after, you know, a year, and you know, some change, it's time to take off. And so that's essentially what that was the plan. I put it into action. You know, here I am. I'll be coming up on 5 years in August. You know, I'm the lead for Blacks at Microsoft here in South Florida. That's something, when I first started too, I knew I immediately wanted to change, because I was like, why is everybody doing everything in Atlanta? Like, they were like, oh, we don't have anything in Florida. I was like, what? So I knew I wanted to change that, and that, you know, I'm one of the co-founders of our BAM Florida chapter. And, you know, just, you know, that's kind of what I would leave people with, right? Like, just don't let any opportunity pass you by. Don't be too, you know, be humble enough to, you know, to humble yourself, maybe to even do something that I'm not going to say I wanted to do it. It was a dream. It was a dream come true, and I got it. But I also knew that, you know, I had to be comfortable myself with the fact that I'm so educated, right? And you know, and not necessarily, you know, have so much experience, right? And then not necessarily in a role that reflected that. So
gotcha. Yeah. So like, but the neat thing that sounds like to me, so I don't know what motivated you to while you're studying law to also get a MBA type.
Oh,
thing.
I mean, you see my entrepreneur. I'm a business. I'm a business guy too. So it's, you know, that's what it was.
And then to be doing the teaching now. So now you got 3, you know, key aspects of business, you know, in there. So, but I think that's great. And I think when you founders sometimes they don't realize the value of their lived and educational experience and how it can propel them to excel in being a founder. So, so what made you decide to start BiteCon?
Yeah, great question. So like I said, when I started BiteCon in 2022, and a lot of, as you know, like, that's when a couple of years ago, like, and Bitcoin is, for those of y'all paying attention, it just hit its highest mark. But that's when, like, Bitcoin was booming, and NFTs, you know, blockchain, you know, and so, and even before that, like that, you know, all that, you know, stuff started kind of booming, right? And I would talk to people in our community who either like didn't know anything about it, or they look at me like a deer in headlights. Like, you know, I'm talking to them about, you know, Ethereum and, you know, what they got to create a wallet and what, you know, what it takes to, because I was, you know, a lot of people have literally their first NFT because of me, not even because of Bitcoin, because of me. Right. You know, I was early on all of that. Right. And explaining to people how to do it. I was early on gifting people, you know, NFTs to their wallets, right? And so I just say that to say I created Bitcoin so our folks wouldn't get left behind. I was tired of people like just not knowing, or it's not even about being a subject matter expert, but like at least have some familiarity with it. And that's what I want. I want, you know, all of our people to at least have some familiarity with blockchain and what it is, and, you know, how it can help them, and with NFTs and what they are, and how they can help, and utility behind them, and with AI, right? And how you can use AI and how you can scale with this. All of these trying to normalize the conversation around, you know, these technologies, you know, in our community. You know, that's essentially,
fantastic. Yeah. So so I think you know, with the conference coming up and the innovation challenge, and you definitely causing some impact, you know, for folks, and so that's really neat. So you know, like just so you know, your ByteCon thing last year, that's how I, you know, I was, even though I didn't make it, I was looking to see what was going on, and I saw Robert McNair was on there. He's going to be talking about you know, some
Chat GPT at that time. Yeah.
So I immediately, you know, got on, tracked him down and had him come up here and do the stuff, do a thing for our kickoff for our bid chapter up here. And, you know, and so yeah, it was pretty neat. So like, I don't know if you saw the comment that I guess that's April. I never seen it spelled away, that she was.
We're gonna be. She said, "Have you checked out?" Yeah, we're gonna be at the Center for Black Innovation. We're partnering for Overtown Day.
Okay.
We're gonna. That's one of our spots for Overtown Day. But I have to find out about that video team though.
Yeah. And so like, if you need some StreamYard stuff, we got one of the thing. I think we can have like 10 team members on here. So if you need some help that way, I don't mind doing that. You know, like if you got some people that know how to operate it.
Okay. Yeah. That might.
Yeah. Because we're going to use StreamYard to stream our bike.
Big kind.
The innovation.
The innovations.
I found this innovation summit, and so that's a tech. You know, we basically, you know, so like if you're going to be able to want to reach people, you need to be able to get out there. You know, give a shout out to Ron there. He was the guy that, you know, kept telling me I need to do a startup conference for my founders. And so he came on board and became a sponsor as well.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. He's in St. Louis, and it's a good guy. Got his own construction company, and doing well. And so he'll be down to the conference. He's a NSB guy too. So he's
nice.
Real. Yeah, he's like, when I met him, you know, that's all, you know, it was NSB. Okay. So yeah, and I was a member of NSB before it came NSB. That's how.
Oh, nice. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. But we also you know, just want to appreciate your organization and for what you're doing there, and also the fact that you've got this innovation challenge. You know, I think that's
y'all please take advantage. You know, everybody in your ecosystem, and, you know, everybody watching, you know, please take advantage. This is exactly what I preach about, as far as, you know, jump on opportunities. Don't let opportunity pass you by. You know, jump on them, especially if you don't have anything to lose. And
Yeah, I definitely will say with the innovation challenge, a lot of times people struggle with going through some training material on their own, but this is a unique opportunity with that innovation challenge that you're going to actually have some help from Microsoft trainers, and so that's a really unique situation. So it really is a good
take
opportunity.
advantage of that too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not only that, they have office hours too, right? And like,
Yeah.
I mean, I even saw, like they're, sharing their emails for people to be able to, reach out and stuff. So, this is a, I don't want to say a once in a lifetime opportunity, because I think we do want to do this more at Microsoft.
Yeah.
But this is one, this is like a time is now opportunity to, for you to get on. So.
Yeah, and I always try to tell founders and people who are want to get into technology, get the certification. Yeah, for the longest, it's this corporate funding, government funding. You just have to become aware of it and leverage it to kind of keep moving forward. Yeah. All righty,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we appreciate the folks in the audience that have the questions and everything. We're looking forward to partner with you as well, to kind of see how we can help each other out and stuff like that. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. And if you hang on a minute, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. And
Okay.
we'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.